Welcome back to the Profits of IT, the short show where we pull one big idea you can actually use without turning the day into a webinar. I'm Jim Punzenberger and I run ManageProspectingSystem.com. If you want to see what we do, head to ManageProspectingSystem.com. And you'll especially want to do this if you're an IT business owner looking to grow your practice. I'm excited to have Jyotin with me today. He's Managing Director of Secure Flow, which has stayed profitable for over a decade, which in business is basically a superpower by itself, to be profitable for 10 years in this ever-changing times. Before we jump into it, a quick note about listeners who run a business. A lot of security talk lives in theory land, but what I like about Secure Flow is the how practical it is and the way Jyotin has gone about building it. So Jyotin, please introduce yourself and give us a quick bit about your background and what you're excited about today.
Sure. Thank you, Jim. I'm excited about the profits of IT and having this conversation. So my name is Jyotin Gambhir. As Jim mentioned, run Secure Flow. Our website is secureflow.net. Our focus is managing your risk. And my background has been in cybersecurity for the last 25 plus years in various companies, which include software, small startups like Eagle Eye, as well as New Dimension, Access 360, Tivoli, IBM, Deloitte. And then I developed my own practice to try to have that enterprise focus for the SMB market.
That's a very interesting background. So let's jump right into it. And my mostly the thing that I love to do is ask guests about truth bombs. And you shared a big one. A lot of leaders think my company uses Amazon or Microsoft, and as long as they are secure, my data is secure. But that's not necessarily the truth. Want to expand more on that?
Yeah, so what happens is what we've found over the multiple years that we've been doing this for SMB sector, they try to associate themselves with a larger vendor, and the cloud has been the prevalent one, where a client will always tell us, "Hey, my data sits in AWS or in GCP, Google Cloud that is, or Azure." And because those guys are secure, that automatically lends itself to my data being secure, not realizing that they're just leasing space as they would in an office space. Doesn't mean the building owner is going to make sure that you and your office is secure just because you leased a space in that particular office. Cloud doesn't mean they're running a business, they're just leasing data center server space to you. And what happens there is because of the false sense, there are people have, and in fact, cloud providers provide them phenomenal tools. So they have amazing tools in their toolbox, which make them feel like they are checking boxes in regards to, hey, I do network security because I check this box. I do logging and monitoring. I do check this box. I do access control. I check this box. But just because the cloud is, for example, SSA 18 SOC 2 compliant or HIPAA compliant or CMMC certified, doesn't lend itself to you as a company having the same certifications or checking the same boxes for that matter. You yourself are running an entirely separate data flow. You have different customers. You have a different set of overall perspectives as to how your data is used. You have different vendors. So you cannot you check boxes what the cloud is providing to what you are providing. And that's a big misnomer that the industry has. And I think it has changed overall now quite a bit. But still, the overall industry focuses on checkboxes because they want to reduce cost and they look at security as a cost center. In fact, in 2026, security is no longer a cost center. It is, in fact, something that you need to do. Otherwise, you are, you know, there is a stat out there, 60% of SMBs will go out of business with one major breach. That's a large number. 60%, that means 6 out of 10 will go out of
Hmm.
business just based on one major breach. You can just imagine what that really means for, a small business.
Yeah, that makes sense that it's security. Um, it's not a nice to have. It's gotta be uh, really the foundation of your business has to be secure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the important thing is that the traditional businesses look at security as an insurance. They buy insurance policies because they feel like if something goes wrong, the insurance policy will cover them. Security, in a way, has been a traditional insurance policy. The problem with that insurance policy is it doesn't pay you if you were to get breached. You still have to do the work to recover not only your data, but your reputation, um, which is hard to recover once you get a breach and your trust factor goes away because security essentially is all about trust. You are building trust with your clients, with your vendors, and with the enterprise in general, your customers, that you are going to keep the data or the service that you're providing secure. If you breach that trust, generally it's harder for them to come back. It doesn't matter as much to a Walmart or a Target or a big hospital because we don't have that many choices to go shopping elsewhere in some cases, but does make a difference to a small business.
That makes sense. So let's shift gears here a moment. Let's hit your learning moment. You said a big professional assumption that you made was thinking people and companies actually wanted more to be more sta secure. You want to talk on that a bit?
Uh, Sorry, I didn't get that.
You
What was the
said,
question?
yeah, so when we talked earlier, you said a big professional assumption you made in the past was thinking businesses
Yeah,
and companies actually want to be
yeah,
want secure data, uh, and which I guess isn't necessarily um, the
yeah.
well, uh, obviously they want secure data, but it's probably the mindset that you're referring to here.
Yeah. So what my assumption was going in from, working for enterprise companies over the many decades to focusing on SMB as my own business was that when we're providing a service, um, just because a company needs to be HIPAA compliant or a SOC 2 certified or CMMC certified, or they're saying they're NIST or ISO certified, that means that they are concerned about security. They want operationally their supply chain to be secure, their data to be secure. That was a wrong assumption on my part. After speaking to companies, I learned that security is for them as much of a checkbox as compliance is. The data overall is something they care about when it comes to selling their service or a product. But on the back end, they don't want to spend money on it. They don't want to do work. Security, unfortunately or fortunately, is something that you have to practice on a daily basis, and you need to have a good way of managing right documentation in terms of policies, governance, and then filtering it down to the entire company because it's almost like it takes the whole team or it takes a village to practice good security practices so that your data is secure. Because especially after COVID, the data has become very hybrid, right? Because everybody is not only in multiple locations, but you have data on your laptops, you're working from home, you don't work in a office. So in an office network, the Wi-Fi may or may not be secure. So there are multiple ways somebody can exploit that data or get access to it. Email may not be secure. So there are most companies have realized that, but they've also figured that because it's so large that their budget is going to be too big. And so they tend to try to do the minimum. But the overall perspective from a security perspective is it does require a diligent effort. And that's why our focus has been not to buy more technology or to hire more resources because they can be expensive, is to focus on your risk. If you focus on your risk may not be the same as your neighboring company or your friend's company or another company that you may have learned about on the news. Your risk is very unique to your own data flows and your own company operations. So understanding your risk is more important, and then managing it or remediating the gaps is more, or fixing the gaps is more important than actually looking at it from a perspective of this is what my neighbor does or my competitor does or some company in my industry does and following that. We all have that tendency, right? So we do that in our homes, for example. We see the neighbor and they're putting in a new roof and they have shingles as opposed to a metal roof. And you say, oh, shingles, well, how much is it? And you ask them a reference and you start, doing something similar because you need a new roof. We tend to trust. There's a whole trust cycle. And that's what we do. And that's the same thing with security, right? So the overall perspective is, yes, you want data to be secure, and companies tend to take data security as a checkbox. But in order for them to do that, they need to understand where their risk is as opposed to, and that way they can manage their budget better rather than spending a lot on products and technologies which they never use. It's the same thing as we all want the latest iPhone or the latest phone, but we don't use half the features. We really don't need that latest phone.
So, what has you got excited right now in relationship to Secure Flow?
What we are excited about, in 2026 has been a focus on AI, right? So AI, artificial intelligence, obviously is in the news, and it does affect security. The reason it affects security is because automation makes it more harder to protect your environment. It gives you better tools if you have a lot of data. It can give you good signals based on your data, but it does make it harder for you to protect your environment because the bad guys will use AI as well to get into your email, to get into your network, to get at your data, and to sell your data. So the important thing about AI today, if it's like security, is to start again with governance, to understand right policies. It's like the internet age, right policies on who can access what, right policies on what AI you're going to use, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, others. What kind of data are you sharing with the AI? Because that is public data. Um, and that can be used against you. It's like sharing data on social media. So there are various aspects to implementing AI which have a security component. There are vulnerabilities from a security perspective, but also as you implement something, you want to make sure that your employees are aware on what are the security implications. They're also aware what they should and should not do, because if you don't tell them, they don't know, and they're just doing their job. They don't know the access to the data. They don't know what AI will do to their data. They don't know how it can be used to reach them, right? Everybody's learning. And so we are excited about the fact that, there is this new technology which has the capability to build better tools. And we are, in fact, building better tools as well. We're building a dashboard capability in our in-house to assess a lot of the data that our customers have. But I think more important is to have a playbook. Update your playbook on how you run your business using AI.
So, what would be a good way for listeners to connect with you?
Um, the best way to connect with us, obviously, I mean, of course, you can reach us at my email, which is Gambhir, Gambhir @secureflow.net, or on our website, it's email@secureflow.net, and we are .net. And it's SECUREFLO. There's no W, so it's secureflow.net. As well as we have a LinkedIn handle, social medias. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X. You can contact us in those places. You can also reach our phone at 781-819-4235.
I love it, Jyotin. And if you're listening, you can check the show notes for that information as well. And any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
Well, I want to thank you for the time and thank your audience. And we would love to work with anyone.
Thank you
And have a
for your
great
time.
2026.
And if you're listening and an IT business owner or executive looking to grow your business, be sure to check out manageprospectingsystem.com. And until next time, stay hydrated and caffeinated. Bye for now.